Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, on with his Wednesday guest, Matt, the mortgage guy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Mike. How you doing?
I've been looking forward to this conversation. I don't know what happened on January 3rd, January 4th, but damn, the 10-year went nuts. I think it went from a low of like 1.4 something to 1.7, like seemingly overnight.
Right.
And the reason I bring this up is because you and I have been saying for 45 days now, like it, lock it. I'm guessing your world kind of bloody the last couple of days.
Super bloody. And, you know, the good news is that like I've been practicing what I've been preaching.
Yeah.
And I specifically looked at a file that before this past 3-day weekend, markets were closed on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I had talked to somebody who was back and forth. And I said, listen, this deal makes sense. I want to submit it. If you want to change it, if you want to take more or less cash out, if you want to change the rate and buy points, do whatever, let's get this in and locked. Yeah. And literally Thursday, we like submitted it. And then Monday, rates tank. Tuesday, rates tank. And here we are, you know.
Well, let's be clear. Rates don't tank. That's kind of reverse logic for most people. Rates skyrocket.
Right.
Rates go up.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, in the whole scheme of things, I hate to be like the FUD preacher and the sky is falling. Like if rates went from 3.25 to 3.375, it's not the end of the world, but it's like, you know, when you've been told so many times, like if this refinance makes sense, if you're trying to do something like don't wait, days like we've had the last 2 days are just a reminder, like I told you so. Like, yeah, I'm not just saying it because I'm trying to be a salesperson. I'm trying to advise and I'm trying.
Yeah. I mean, you're again, that decision on Thursday saved this individual probably thousands of dollars a year for 30 years.
Exactly.
It's not a bad, I mean, that's why we do what we do. That's why you are in the business you are in. That's why you look every day. If you like it, lock it. And for the most part, that's going to be interesting because I think Barry Habib, for those who are not in the mortgage industry, he is someone who has won several awards for his predictions, right? His crystal ball is frankly better than both of ours.
Right.
I know in the mortgage industry, you probably follow him a lot. So I am curious, what is Barry saying about interest rates 2022? Because I'm sure he's called like it, lock it as well. But what's he see coming?
Exactly. Yeah. And so, you know, I followed that guy my whole time in the mortgage industry, you know, all 8 years, subscribed to his newsletter, listened to his daily market updates, you know, seen him at conferences. It was kind of a cool moment for me. This last mortgage broker conference where I literally was going on stage after him.
Oh,
and so we're backstage getting mic'd up and like, you know,
there's Barry.
Yeah. And literally, you know, he's taking his mic off. I'm putting my mic on and I just said hello. And I can't remember what I said, but basically
I'm a big fan.
You know, yeah, big fan. I've been following your stuff for a long time, you know, for 2+ decades. Yeah. He's been accurately predicting mortgage and real estate. And so that's why even when I read this latest thing where I thought it was maybe a little bit, wow, you're a Smurf now.
I blew. My camera just went out. I don't know what happened there. That is weird.
Time for an upgrade. I'm gonna send you a link to the Sony A7C I just bought.
That is hilarious. I'm gonna be blue the rest of the episode. That's
that'll be awesome. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I'm holding my breath for rates to come down.
And that's a good transition. Oh. Great transition, Mike. Is that as crazy as this sounds, Barry is talking about the second half of 2022 mortgage rates coming down. And I thought that was crazy. But then when it comes from somebody like Barry, who knows what he's talking about, you have to listen. And so without getting into it, because I thought I could record a short video on this topic, I recorded a 20-minute video that I think will come out Thursday. He showed the history of what the Fed has done in the face of inflation.
Sure.
And what that has done to not only inflation, but then the stock market and mortgage rates. Okay. And so like, just to go over it really quickly, in the 70s, Arthur Burns,
yes,
you know, ignored inflation.
I've talked about it. Yep.
You know, he said it would be transitory, which is kind of funny.
He did.
Like, hey,
we've heard that word before.
Yeah. And so, you know, inflation goes from 7 to 14%. And rates were like up at 18%. And so when he took action and the Fed funds rate, I think, went from 11 to 20% during like Burns and Volcker as Fed chairs, inflation came from 14 down to 5.
It did.
And then mortgage rates went from 18 down to 12.
Okay.
Stock market goes down 30%, recession, but rates come down. And then you've got Greenspan in the 90s. Inflation goes from 2 to 3.5%. Mortgage rates are up to 8.5%. The Fed funds rate from 4.75 to 6.5, ticks up the Fed funds rate, and is Fed policy trying to do that to tame inflation. Inflation comes from 8.5 down to 1%. Rates come down 3% from 8.5 to 5.5. Stock market tanks 50%, go into recession. But for me and my audience, I think I'm looking at the rates.
Right.
And so now we look at Jerome Powell. Inflation goes from 2% to 7%.
Yeah.
We know that we might get readings that might even go above 7%.
Sure.
Mortgage rates have ticked up over these last 6 months from roughly 2.5 to 3.75.
Okay.
The 3 rate hikes they're talking about this year, the 3 they're talking about next year, it's going to be at least like a 0 to a 1% Fed funds rate hike.
No question. 0 to maybe even 1.5.
Right.
Yep.
They're doing this to tame inflation. So inflation should drop.
Correct.
And if and when, if that's the second half of 2022, if it's the first half of 2023, I don't know, but rates should decline as inflation declines.
All right. So basically what Barry is saying is he thinks the Fed, Powell specifically, is going to be aggressive. He's going to be a little Volcker, raise rates, cause an economic recession. When a recession happens, that will lower inflation. Inflations will lower. Basically, he's saying that the Fed will be aggressive and then they'll peel back. And it is crazy that I am blue. It is.
I mean, this is a crazy concept. It makes sense when you really think about it. Yeah. And when it comes from somebody as credible as Barry, and when you think about how history repeats itself, this could be something we see. Obviously, there's all these factors, right?
Yeah.
All these wild cards that could play into it. And it's like, if we get additional stimulus, if there's a COVID outbreak, if the Fed changes their stance, right? There might be something that happens where, the stock market reacts and the Fed, takes their foot off the gas. They're getting too much flack for. Yeah.
This is kind of what I see coming. It's a little bit, it's not quite what Barry sees coming. I guess it's what Barry says, but I'm a year off. Because I think Jerome not only has to talk tough, I think he has to be tough. I think he has to raise 3, maybe 4 times this year, because I think even the CPI readings are going up, not down, given rents and all these other things that are delayed. I think he has to cause a recession, and I've said this on my channel. I think a recession occurs late next year, or actually, what am I saying? Late this year. And that could ultimately mean rates come down, but I wouldn't see it to the first half of 23. But again, Barry's got the awards. Barry won the forecast, I think 2 years in a row. So again,
right. Yeah. He's won these awards.
He's pretty good.
For accurate forecasts. So we can't count it, but yeah, when I recorded the video that I have coming out on my channel, check out Matt the Mortgage Guy on YouTube, everybody. Which most of your subscribers do. I love when they come over. I found you through Mike. My thought too was, one, it might be a little bit longer time frame that plays out. And 2, I think, Barry's talking about rates going to 3.75 and then coming back down. I think they might even go higher.
Oh yeah.
Everything I'm seeing, I think we might get into the 4s.
So he's talking owner rock, right? When Barry talks 3.75 owner. Yeah. We're going to have something in the 4s, I would think, this year.
Right. Yeah. I think we get, up into the 4s, so that if and when we do get this pullback and there's,
they got to have room, right? Yeah.
Right. Then, we might have it come back by 0.75% in rate, but that might only be to 3.5. Right. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. And this kind of stuff, I love and respect Barry, so I follow his stuff. Yeah. I try to find stuff that I might, even disagree with, and see
of course,
where there's points of different people's opinions where, like, okay, I can see that happening and whatnot. And so, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, how the housing market reacts, how, buyers and sellers react, because this stuff obviously affects housing. It obviously affects the real estate market. And, one thing that I'm paying attention to is the higher and the faster rates go up, the more it impacts supply, in my opinion.
It will. Yeah, of course.
Are going to be locked, right? Like if rates are 4.25 and you have a 2.75% rate, like I have these conversations every day.
They're not selling.
Where somebody says, what does it look like if I sell and then buy something bigger in that other neighborhood or a little bit bigger? And if I tell you, not only are you into higher property taxes, higher homeowners insurance, have to borrow more money to buy up, but also 1.5 higher on your interest rate.
Ooh, that's a double whammy.
It's a lot of sticker shock, right? And they're like, not for $1,000 more per month. No thanks.
Yeah.
Stay where
I don't need an extra bedroom for $1,000 a month. Thank you very much.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus
we'll buy
like,
bunk beds.
yeah, you know, in the past when rates were declining, it's like, hey, you can sell and upgrade and your payment was going to be the same.
Yeah.
Right?
Or it goes down $50.
Yeah, exactly. So
Crazy.
it'll be interesting to see how that affects housing.
Yeah. Well, Barry's very good. I think Barry's again deserves those props. I just think he's early. And again, I am so distracted that I'm blue. I can't believe that you can keep a straight face. I don't know what happened to my web camera. This is my 4th video of the day. Maybe it's just hot. I don't know. But Matt, the mortgage guy, how do you want people to follow you and reach out?
I would love for anybody who, you know, wants my opinion as a mortgage broker who's in it all day, every day, talking to consumers, talking real estate agents.
Like it, lock it. That's
right.
you.
And go, you know, Matt, the mortgage guy on YouTube, follow, leave me comments. If there's videos that you can't find, let me know. I'll record them. If you're looking for getting pre-approved, us reviewing a refinance scenario, whatever it is, go to greatmortgagebroker.com. Just tell us where you're at, where we can help. And we're happy to. And so, yeah, greatmortgagebroker.com is the best place to connect with us.
Thanks for that.